This is the Argon News Network, where we're not just based, we're text-based. Welcome back, Agonichks and Agonichkas. Always glad to come back and deliver some low-quality, unscripted 8-bit retro content to the Argon community. Slight delay since the last video. I was sucked down a rabbit hole of generative AI. I managed to get Stable Diffusion running on my gaming laptop, and I've been having fun. Any idiot can copy a prompt from Google and then paste it into an online paid service and make pretty pictures, but it takes a special kind of idiot to actually deploy that and run it locally, and I've been having a lot of fun. If you think this is an interesting topic, let me know. Maybe I'll do a how-to video on that. Maybe somebody will volunteer to port Stable Diffusion over onto the Argon Lite, although I believe that the processing time and the resolution might just be a bit below what we're used to from this technology. So having a lot of fun with that. However, today, let's dive right in to our content for the Argon. We have some, well, they're not breaking news because we don't know what the news are yet. Bernardo Kastrup, the Byte Attic, the Elon Musk of the Argon community, has been teasing us over social media over the past sort of 10-ish days. Hashtag it is 8, it is infinite, it is coming. What is it, right? Doesn't say. You're doing the same on Mastodon. It is coming. It is truly amazing. It comes with a whole ecosystem. It has a bit of a very blurry picture, and it seems to have a USB-A connector, which raises all kinds of questions about the sanity of whoever's involved in this project. I don't know what it is. Maybe Microsoft has realized that the Xbox is not really the way to go, is going to shut down development on that and moving its entire gaming billions onto an Argon Lite-based 8-bit gaming platform. Interesting business decision? We don't know. You can be sure that once we find out what it is hashtag it, on the channel, we will go and review that and comment on it. I'm very excited about that. So, also, since I was on Mastodon, apparently the Argon Lite Origins edition, which is obviously back to the roots kind of, hopefully compatible kind of a thing. So that's happening. Let's see what's happening on there. But the real one is, what is it? Stay tuned. In other news, Dean Belfield, here he is, suited and booted on the old Twitter bird thingy. He is the Steve Wozniak of the Argon community, actually making the stuff work. He dropped some release candidates for MOS 1.04 and VDP 1.05, as well as a BBC Basic 1.05. So deployed those, you'll see those, because this was a prerequisite for where we're going next. So well done, Dean Belfield. So with that, a quick note on there. When you deploy the VDP, that tripped me up a little bit. You need to change the library in your Arduino, delete the FabGL, and use this one, the VDPGL. It's an official fork of FabGL just for the Argon community. Once you do that, the rest of the instructions will work just fine. So now to the meat of the entree, the main course of today's video, game review. Still need to get this particular graphic over onto the Argon. Still struggling to write a JPEG decoder in BASIC. We'll get round there. But isn't it pretty? It's purple, it's blue, it's laser, it's 80s. It's absolutely period appropriate. So what kind of game are we going to review today? It's going to be a text-based game. As you know, here at AgonTV Technologies, we like text-based. We made the first ASCII animations of Star Wars on the Argon, at least on YouTube. We made a text-based Flappy Bird on the competition. We made a sort of mud client via a Raspberry Pi for the Argon. So based on that text-based obsession, we today will review Vezza. Vezza is written by Seinstra. Seinstra is very active in the in the Argon Discord, very active on the Argon Facebook, and he released a while back a Z machine interpreter. So if you don't know what that is, it's an interpreter which can run a certain type of files. It's the great granddaddy of VMs in a certain way, by Infocom, which is a great company, and you have titles like Zork and Hitchhiker's Guide and whatever, and this is interpreter. So Seinstra, who is kind of the John Romero of the Argon Light gaming community. Why do I say John Romero? Because he's actually made this game freeware, not freeware, shareware. It's pay as much as you want, and that was a big differentiator of the original Doom. Is that you could play the first few levels without shelling out some of your hard-earned dollars. So that's what he did here. So you don't have to pay. You can do what I did. I might pay some money at some point. I encourage you to, because it's your money and not mine. You can just go to no thanks, take me down to the downloads, download the bin, and off you jolly well go. So what does that look like? Let's switch over onto the machine. I downloaded the binary. I had to put it in my MOS folder because you have to run it with like a file name and then a parameter, which is the file name of the Z machine file you have to run. And somehow I can only get that to work if it's in the MOS folder. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, but let's jump right in. Zork. It's called Zork 1, but I don't know if it was even called that originally. I remember it as Zork only. I actually played that originally down there on that Apple II, which hasn't actually booted in 25 years. Gonna have to do some hardware repairs there. But yay, we're in Zork. Notice how they've gone to the little detail of getting a font which is very 8-bitty, very aptly. So nice touch there. And here we are. We go south, we go east, we open the window, and we enter the window, and we go up, and now we're in the dark, and we are likely to be eaten by a grue. Well, that's why I came up here to the dark, because I insist, the only reason I'm here is because I want to be eaten by a grue. Come on, grue. Hey, I've been eaten by a grue. That is one way to end the Zork game. So, yay, it works. It cool works. What else have we got in here? One reason why this thing is dependent apparently on the latest VDP 1.04 release candidate 1 is because that allows disabling of RTC. No clue what that means, but it allows things like this. There's a VT Zracer.z5. So the Infocom was made for text-based games, but people have programmed things like this, racing games in here. Just if you're using this and you're looking for arrow keys, you have to use numlock. At least that's my experience. So here we have a racing game. I don't know exactly what it does. Actually, I think it's a rail shooter. So you're on the rails, but if I press the right arrow, maybe I can take that little turn. Whatever. It's a racing game, and that's the cool thing about this interpreter is that basically a quasi-infinite number of games now become accessible to our Argon gaming community, which I think is absolutely bloody awesome. Right, what else have we got in here? Oh, we'll do... for the key one is... that really got me excited was... There's VT Rogue. Remember, I have mentioned Rogue in different contexts, always been into roguelikes for a very long time. Start a new game. Bum. So it's a very primitive rogue, kind of doesn't have the whole net hack. But again, if you numlock, you can travel around, you can pick up a scroll, you can kill a kestrel and get some experience points. You can pick up a potion. You can quaff the potion. What's it called? Blue. G. Okay. So now we know that potion is a potion of seeing all the monsters, and you can run around here and find the kestrel, and hopefully this is good. This is a good room. The kestrel misses 12 hit points. Yay, I defeated the Kestrel, and I got a scroll, and I got another scroll, and a ring, and a wand, and another wand, and I'm probably going to be overburdened. Anyway, we can play Rogue. How cool is that? We can play Rogue on the Argon Light. What else can we play? Some classic Infocom 1, and this will be my segue back onto the other screen. Vezza VT Leather.z5. Here it goes, loading the game. And what we see on the screen, some material in this story may not be suitable for children. We have not safe for work pornographic. Well, slightly erotic text-based gaming from the 80s on the Argon Light. How awesome is that? Well done, Scienstra. Awesome, absolutely awesome. So let's go back here and drill in a little further. So that last one, which I just had, the non-safe for work one, was an original Infocom game called Leather Goddess of Phobos. This is the advert for the second installment. So part two, which looks like it has some actual graphic, like like the who had the text-based games, King Quest, Space Quest, Police Quest, that kind of guys. And you look at this. If this is Who's Trying to Conquer Earth, is the planet really worth saving? How sexist can you get? But I'm not actually too worried about that because I've looked at the statistics of the channel. We are 100% males on my over 500 viewer with an age of between 45 and 64. So yeah, you're used to seeing maybe stuff which we wouldn't do today anymore. It was a different time back there, and we're much more woke, at least a little bit more sensitive these days, which is healthy, much healthier for society as a whole. So yeah, I'm going to call this pretty much infinite game review because there are quasi-infinite games available for this Z Machine interpreter. You can almost, it's for me, it's almost like the VM, right? Java. Oh yeah, runs on a virtual machine and on Henry hardware. We're so great. We're so smart. Bollocks, right? That the whole point of this is that I'm taking a Z5 file which is written like 30 years ago, and because the Z Machine interpreter abstracts away the hardware layer, I'm able to play all of this stuff. And all of this stuff is, well, all of the Infocom games. I'm just do a Google search. People call them ROMs, even technically they're not really that. And you go to any one of those, and there's several dozen. Apparently, they're all there. How legal this is, I'm not going to say, but there's like Beyond Zork. Bureaucracy is a famous one. That was pretty tough. Of course, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Absolute Machine. Starcross was famous as well. So you can play all of the Infocom games, well, at least the compatible ones. I'm not sure if this one will work because it's got graphics. Might test that in a future video. But you don't just have access to Infocom. You have Rogue, so I'll link to that as well. This is an archive of all kinds of Rogue implementations running on calculators and pregnancy tests and whatever the hell, including one for the Z Machine. There it is. Rogue. Oh no, sorry, Z5. There it is. So yeah, there's the Rogue for the Z Machine, and then beyond that, there I found this page. I'm sure there's more, which, if I'm reading this right, has 766 homebrew games for the Z Machine interpreter, and there's a ton of them in there. And this is, I think, where I found the Zracer. So wow, interesting. And there's a ton of them. They're even in Slovenian. You ask, what is the unique selling point of the Argon Light? It's the technology's old, it's weird, it's clunky. Well, if you want to play freeware text-based games in Slovenian, Argon is the place to go. That's a selling point, and it's definitely unique. If one day, I don't know, you're in solitary confinement and want to spend 50 years, well, you can play through all these games. Let me know if there's one which is worth a review here. So, fantastic job, really excited, especially because this now makes these games much more accessible. There wasn't a Z Machine interpreter, or there was Zork available on CP&M, which I haven't managed to install yet. That's a bigger mountain than I'm prepared to climb at this time. So yeah, infinite games enabled by Scienstra. Well done. Because of all of that, we're going to give this game, a drum roll, a Argon News Network game review score of square root of minus 144 minus 1, which translates to 12i minus 1. Why the square root of a negative number? Well, the Vezza isn't actually a game, right? You could call it an emulator or a virtual machine or an almost quasi an operating system, if maybe a UI. So it wouldn't be fair to compare it with games, which is why I've decided to do a square root of a negative number and head off at the right angles to reality. However, it's a square root of 144 because of fucking good effort, and so we want a big number like 12i. The minus 1 there is removed because at the moment, at least, the source hasn't been opened, which is, the choice of the publisher, but it's also the choice to score like this. So well done. Go and check it out. Let me know how that goes. With that, time to finish this particular video. Do follow me on the old social media, on the Mastodon. Do occasionally check out the Loserbum website. Maybe I'll put a mailing list in here, more content. My GitHub with various links is up here. My Mastodon, even my Instagram, where you can see the cool AI stuff I've been doing. So with that, what else is there left to say? There is left to say that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. You're all a bunch of bloody Argonian legends. I'm Loserbum, you're the Argon community, and I am out of here.